Hello, hello. Welcome to the new episode of Divination Detectives. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We are not coming to you with a mystery, we are not coming to you with a conspiracy, though I believe that a large population of us would agree that there is something very conspicuous going on in the world and just with everything happening at the moment. So we're going to be talking about like the current crisis, the current state of things, and just kind of picking up on the subtle differences because both of us live in different parts of the world. Alex is in Canada, and I'm over here in Europe, like Central Europe to Eastern Europe. So we have a lot of differences, but then also a lot of similarities that are going on globally. So we're just going to be touching on those a little bit and talking about where we think things are going and maybe pulling a couple of cards to see what they have to say. And I think today we should maybe do something different as well with the cards and maybe pull a bit of advice for everyone that will be tuning into this episode and see what the cards say we need to do, what we need to implement. Because, yeah, I think everybody's going a little bit haywire with the current situation and just stressed and nervous. I feel like is the descriptor of many a people's day-to-day mindset. Because yeah, it's very unpredictable. It just doesn't seem to be getting any better. So yeah, I guess let's just jump in, see what we have, what comes up. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, I think that sounds great. It's kind of like a little bit of a free flow of an episode. What I kind of had in mind for us was, yeah, just to kind of like go through some like questions that we can quickly get answers for and see where that leads us to new questions, new topics, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
let it flow.
Mm-hmm.
I really loved what you said because there is definitely a collective what the F is going on here
Yep,
all over the world
very much
based
so.
on current events with certain wars happening, countries possibly invading illegally against their constitution. Just straight up horrible happenings that I don't understand why we as Canada let our allies do this and not say shit.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the average person like me and you, like we were just talking about, like our car insurance is going up, my house insurance is going up. You were flabbergasted at the amount I'm paying based on what you
Oh
guys
my
pay
God.
over there.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, like I cut corners, I take things off. I'm not, people pay more than me. It's wild. It's wild. And we just accept it. We just take it, we just take it. How long are we expected to do this? This is the question. Everything feels so like tainted and like against us. So yeah, I think some guidance would be nice to kind of lace in with some of our discoveries here.
Yeah. So I would just wanted to check something because you just mentioned the insurance. I was just trying to see like what's like the percentage that the difference, like how much more are you actually paying? Because amount wise, it sounds a lot. And I just did
Mhm,
the calculation in comparison from
mhm.
my price for a house insurance, you are paying 32 times more.
Holy crap. 32 times more for house
Yes.
insurance.
Yeah, and this is
Yeah.
the recent upswing in the price that you said. I calculated that,
Mhm.
so like the new price. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
But although, Goran, it is for two houses,
Well, still,
remember.
a price for one house is like 150 euros over here.
I know. Okay, I know. And here
So if
it's
I
like
had
I'm lucky
two
to get under
houses,
2 grand. Yeah,
I
it's
would be
crazy.
paying like 300 to maybe like 400 if I had two, which is still
Mhm.
like 20 times less than what you're paying for
I
two
know. It's
houses.
frustrating. My child knows. What
Oh
are the
my.
kids going to pay? This is what I worry about. What are
I
these
think by
guys stuck with?
I think
Their
by the time
systems.
that the next generation grows up, they're probably gonna need to be selling a kidney in order to pay for like a year's worth of life, to be honest.
It's wild. I know. I just want to be here with my little boy, right? And it's like it feels like a luxury that
Yeah,
like you have to really have extra money to afford it, right? Like because
true.
Oh, I don't have the paycheck.
My
So it's hard.
my father suggested that we should just dig a bunker underground, feed some
Uh-huh.
chickens, a couple of pigs, and just
Yeah.
live like that. And I'm like, you know what? That's even not, I'm not even gonna say that's a half bad idea, because at this point, fuck it. Let's just, we're gonna have lights, but like those little solar panels or whatever. Get that. I don't
I
need the
do.
TV.
I miss having my chickens. I did used to have chickens for a number of years, and this is the second year without them, and I'm itching to like get them back because
Yeah,
to me it's worth it, like nutritional wise against the money. Like it actually, it creates a little bit of pays for itself at the end of the day, I think. But
honestly, yeah, and you can
um
really like get food for them
it,
quite
and it
inexpensively.
just sets me up for this apocalyptic situation. You got to like do as much as you
True,
can to be self-sufficient,
true.
in this chaos that's surrounding us right now.
But also, I
Even,
don't know how the situation is, because I was actually buying eggs for a little while.
Mhm.
Then we found like a source that like it's like free range and they feed them at home, so like there is no GMOs, no nothing.
Yeah.
And we growing up, we always had like chickens at home, so we had like eggs at home every single day. Like you would have like 4 or 6 fresh eggs.
Yeah.
And whenever I would be buying eggs at the store, and you would, you bake something or whatever, and you crack the egg, it doesn't even have like the natural color of the egg. They were literally
Mhm.
orange. I'm used to like a yellow yolk from
Yeah.
a chicken at home, and these were like pale and orange.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
I'm like, what the hell? Like, what type of chicken is that?
Yeah, I know. I think it has to do a lot with what they eat. Like they just eat corns, right? So they
Yeah.
don't get any other nutritional value. And then they also get rid of the chicken like after like a year and a half. Like it's very short life, like because that's like they get the most eggs, and as soon as they slow down, like which is their natural rhythm to slow down for a few months, it's like they just kill them and get new ones because it's like more cost effective. It's just horrible. It's a horrible
Well,
system to
you
participate.
yeah, you had them at home, so you know how it works, but you
Mm.
have like those seasons of like 2, 3 months where they stop laying eggs.
Yeah,
It
there's a little bit.
depends. Yeah, it depends on whether it's like
Sometimes
through
when
the
they're younger, they
winter.
might they might still go like, or one of them might lay all like you might get one a day. So
Yeah.
there is possible, but I think yeah, as they get a little older, they tend to stop in the winter. I find like the second or third winter.
Yeah. Because we had them, but
But
like they stop like every so often. I guess every couple of months they have like a little break for a couple of weeks, a month, two at the most, and then
mhm.
they start picking up again. And we've never had like issues with that, but it's like when you go store bought eggs, it's like not good, not good.
It's not good. It's not, you're not getting the same nutritional value. That's for sure. There's
Exactly,
not as much
exactly.
protein, there's not as much anything. So and but you're finding that with a lot of foods, right?
True.
And the crappy part is we're actually paying more for these foods while their quality goes down or their packaging gets smaller, right? That's shrinkflation, we call it.
Yes, yes.
Inflation. So okay, so let's turn this bitching session into investigation.
Invest. So yeah, I was also gonna ask you what the before we get into like the full-on investigation, what is the
Mhm.
situation with like the gas prices and stuff like that? Because we just had a massive spike.
Mhm.
I think diesel went up like 18 cents, and
Mhm.
then gasoline went up by 12 this past Monday
Mhm. Yeah, it's gone up, I would say 25 cents a liter here.
for
So
both.
it was like, yeah, I don't know about diesel. I think it's similar, but I don't remember what diesel is because I don't typically pay attention, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's like a dollar. Yeah, so it's like $1.75 a liter right now, which is crazy.
For gasoline.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually pretty similar to what we have here. So that's not too bad.
Yeah. So yeah, in euro, I don't know what that would be.
So you actually might be cheaper, to be
We
honest.
might be a little bit.
If we're counting Canadian dollar, because euro, yeah, euro is a bit stronger at the moment. So you're actually might be a bit cheaper at the moment than we are.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Because I've heard like news of
Um,
like Australia closing down
okay.
gas stations because they're running out of fuel and all of that
I
stuff.
mean, we do have oil, right? Like we have, there's literally an oil refinery like in the city, like 30 minutes from my house. Um, Maybe that helps. Like our
I
market
would
might be,
assume
I
so.
think that definitely our markets are different. Like we
Yeah.
have New England states and like the Eastern Seaboard, right? And you guys would be dealing with,
We're dealing
I don't
with
know.
import, to be honest. So
Yeah,
we're
more
we're dealing
import
with
based.
import, and that's like one of the larger issues, though. At the moment, what I noticed, like the biggest issue was actually the reports that were coming up about
Hmm.
the fuel, because it was not just about prices going up, which is, every 2 weeks that happens. It goes down by a couple of cents, then it goes up by a couple of cents. Those sort
Hmm.
of things are like pretty normal. And even for a larger spike, is like you're gonna fuel up your tank now at a lower price, but then like 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, if you're driving every single day to work, Monday through Friday, you're gonna need to fill up. So that
Mm.
one tank of fuel, or like half a tank, however much you were able to pump in, is not
Hmm.
gonna mean that much, because you're still gonna have to pay at the new larger
Oh,
price
definitely. Yeah.
eventually.
Oh,
And it's
definitely.
like on a full tank, it's going to be maybe like $4 difference. Like, is it really worth standing in a
No.
line for like half an hour, 40 minutes to get your turn to pump your car? I get it that for
Hmm.
some people it seems worth it. For me personally, it's like I'm still going to need to get gas either way because I need to get to work. I need to get to doctor's appointments. I need to, get done with all of my obligations and responsibilities that require me to have a car to get there. But then what I noticed the issue with the media was that they were also saying there is going to be no fuel, which created
Oh,
this like massive panic in the last week before the price went up. So a lot of gas
um,
stations were like running low on supply, and then the demand was not able to fulfill the orders. So, like for
wow.
example, where I work, our gas station was like sending out orders to the supplier,
Right.
and instead of like bringing us like 32,000 liters of like diesel or gasoline, they would be delivering 10,000
Yeah.
because the supply was running low because of the constant demand. But that was not
Wow.
the
So
issue. It was just
they created a
they
panic
created a
before.
panic, and it wasn't actually the issue of like the fuel is going to run out. It's just like they weren't able to fulfill it fast enough. The
Mm,
reserves are good, but the amount of demand that was happening throughout the country was just too big all at once. So it created this like, I guess,
wow.
quirk that stopped everything. And yes, some of the orders got completely cancelled. That was happening more so, but that was the propaganda around it that was actually at
Yeah,
fault,
that's
because
crazy.
they were, announcing that everybody's gonna run out of fuel and blah 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 and everything else. But even with what's happening now with politics and everything else, I believe that the stop on the delivery is only for America, I believe, the US,
Okay. Wow.
and everybody else like still gets the fuel with like the war and everything. So like
Mm.
we're gonna be fine. But they reported it as though it was gonna be like this massive shortage and everybody's gonna run out.
Yeah, obviously someone profited from that, and that in the media, yeah, it's basically just a tool for that. The media is a tool for somebody's profit, always.
Yeah, very true, very true. So just created this like massive panic.
Yeah, that's wild. Man, especially at your job. That would have been
Yeah.
annoying.
It
So,
would have because we had like this massive row of people
yeah.
that were there from like 8:30, 7:30 in the morning all the way into like the late hours of the night. People were just in line. Like our night shift guy wasn't able to pull in to work to start his
Mhm.
shift to take over for us. So what were you thinking as far as questions? What did you want to ask?
I don't know. I just want to I want to go to the US for some reason because I just
Okay.
feel like there's just so much I just feel that whole government is sabotaging things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's like the government that was their plan or did like keep a certain group of people take over the Trump situation. Like, because, and then it's like, why did they do this? Like, why are they, putting like tariffs like on everything? Basically, like, we're their biggest trading people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically, they stopped a lot of trade. They created issues with like people being able to sell their goods across the border. So, but like, was that just on purpose? Because then the government gets to create money and send it out. And like, I'm just like, is it a calculated?
Was it a
Are we
calculated
orchestrated? And
decision
then,
or just stupidity?
or like, are we trying to ruin the economy so that digital currencies become more, your friends make, maybe Trump has people making money on that side. It's like, oh, we gotta, cripple, put tariffs, cripple the economy so that all these things go up and we get rich. And then you're going to do this. Like, I just feel like there's so much orchestration here. I don't feel like it's just like stupidity,
Mm-mm.
like
Mm-mm.
of this one man, because it's never just this one person that has all
No.
the so anyway, there's I have questions around that. And like obviously this invading of Iran, which, for 30 years, Israel has been asking the US, literally saying they're on the brink, they're weeks away from nuclear weapons for 30 years. They've been saying that. Coming out of, Bibi Yahu's mouth, especially like literally for like they have footage over the years, him saying like they're a threat, they're right around the corner from having these weapons. And then all of a sudden, Trump's like, okay, bam. And then their first target literally is a school of girls, and they killed 163 girls on their very first strike.
Yeah.
Actually, it was their second strike because I heard a story about like what happened, and yeah, so the first one they knew that they heard the strike happen, so then they're trying to get the kids to a safe place in this room, a prayer room, they called it. And then bam, it went right into that space and killed all the children. So it's like, why is my government that represents me saying like that's okay? Like we support the US. That even though the very first bomb they dropped literally just killed a bunch of little girls. So it's like, who is orchestrating this and why? Like, it's too much for
Yeah,
me.
because
It's
it,
too
it
much for my heart.
makes no sense because I feel like if we're
It's
talking war,
disastrous.
it's disastrous for one, it's completely obnoxious and for me personally just unthinkable.
Mm,
Thinking of like war tactics and stuff like that. If you're going to war with somebody, you are wanting to avoid prolonged conflict, right? That would be the general idea. You're wanting to ensure that you are not spending too many of your resources fighting an enemy so you
mhm,
don't eventually run out, right? Because the supply is not endless, right, of weaponry and all of that stuff. In that sense, wouldn't it make more sense to attack a military plant or,
mhm.
something that relates to a counter strike that you could be receiving from that state, from that country, taking that off the
No,
radar
because yeah.
rather than a school full of girls? What are they going to do? And what message is
Well,
that ultimately sending?
it creates terror, right? It's like if they're going to do this, what else will they do? It's the very worst thing you could do is kill innocent souls,
Yeah, but I
their
think
most
just
precious. items in that area. Like, anyway, so I want to look into this with the cards and stuff because when I check in with the pendulum, I said, was it Trump's idea? I got to know. So it wasn't his idea. I think he was just told, like, oh, the school nearby accidentally, like an accident. But then the people that are behind this, like, to me, it's almost like like if you think of it as a spiritual warfare, it's like a sacrifice. It was like like a purposeful way to start this conflict.
Yeah.
Like it's so evil. It's so evil. It's not military. And this is what I just keep feeling like there's this underlying evil. And I don't know if people are waking up to it and like it's just more relevant because it's like squirming and like dying or like I don't know, but I don't know. It just feels so, I don't know, nothing straightforward. Like you just can't believe anything that you see or hear. It's just so hard to trust. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're
It,
just tangenting.
it's okay, but I'm swinging the pendulum as we talk, trying
Mhm,
to like ask different questions as we go along. And what you just mentioned, like, actually made me think is the last episode we talked about Saint Germain and that entire
mhm,
like plot line of like the immortality and all of that stuff.
mhm.
And we touched upon Mars, right? And even the
Yeah.
episode before that, we talked about the god Mars a little bit when we talked about Saturn and the correlation between the two and all of that stuff. And it made me think of like the this book Red Winter, where the plot line is basically following this main character that's fighting this like enemy, and it turns out to be like a god Mars, and it's like in one of his like infinite incarnations. And what feeds him is like conflict and war and just pure evil, but then also like the sacrifice of the human flesh, sacrifice of the soul.
Mm,
So I'm like
mm,
thinking back to that is like, could this, what you mentioned, like could this have been a sacrifice? I did ask the pendulum. The pendulum said no, like it's not a sacrifice in that sense. I did ask whether or not it was planned, and that is yes, like it was very much intentional. This was not accidental by any means. But I feel like
Is
the
it to
agenda
be?
is very like misty. It doesn't have that sense of like, oh, it's exactly this and this and this. Like it's very much like hidden. So that also begs another question because I don't know if we talked about it. I think we briefly mentioned it that, there are psychics, there are witches, there are spiritual people in alignment with the government, potentially like even working for the government or being paid by the government to do like spiritual protections. So like people like
Mhm.
us or remote viewers or like psychics or whatever
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
access information.
Like I was asking, like, is it a cover? Like, is that bomb in like two things? Is it to create fear? I got a yes. Like it's literal terrorism. Like when the government says I'm going to Iran because they're terrorists, they are the terrorists, okay? Like I
Mm-hmm.
said, if you can kill children, you can do anything, right? Like don't mess with me. Like
Yeah.
we have
Also
no
getting a
heart, we have no
yes.
soul. Yeah, I'm getting yes for that too. And then the second thing, shoot, what did I say? So the first thing was crap. I forget.
It's okay.
I
Take a
get
moment.
lost. I'll take a moment here. So yeah, it's definitely like, yeah, intentional. Oh, a cover. Is it a cover for something else? It's like I'm hearing distraction. Like number one, it is to mess up with the markets. Is it like were they intentionally? And I'm not saying it was Trump. I'm saying the people that convinced Trump. So there's an entity that is controlling Trump,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be the Rothstein, like Illuminati. Is it them? Yeah, I think it is. A lot of them are tied to Israel. Is that right? I'm getting a yes. It's like very yes.
Yeah. Getting
It's
a
like
yes
because
here
that
as well.
government, it's like they found power in that government, right? Because so many countries give that government money. They have this whole, victim mentality, like we have the right to exist and walk around with guns and take over land. Like all of that has been, going on since the Second World War ended. So it's like those people, I feel like have infiltrated the US government at this time. There's even like I even saw a lady like that Trump even like will call these people out. Like there's this one lady and he was like, she's basically the whole boss in this room.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she is like a sitting senator or something. I'm not gonna say the name, I'm not gonna try whatever, but it was definitely like, and a lady that speaks out about the rights of Israel, we'll say. And I think she is, yeah, like tied to this. So there's just like so many of the Illuminati people, like on the blue and the red, like liberal and conservative. They're on both sides. They're in all the governments. They're in the Canadian government for sure. Is that a yes? Yeah. And the other thing with the Canadian governments is they have like lobbyists, right? So people are paid to go and like talk to our and our members of parliament and say like change this law, don't change this law, say this on your social media, don't say these words. Like we'll give your company like we'll give your campaign money. Like this is infiltrated through like a lot of the governments. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like people are waking up to it. It's like money was enough to like keep it hidden, but now it's not, right? They need to do these wars, they need to do like huge things to create like um that fear and that terror to freeze us where they are. They don't want us to change our economy, right? They want it to be tied to oil.
Yeah.
They don't want new
Mm,
um types of fuel online, like even though our car could run on lots of different things, like
true.
this has been suppressed for a long time, especially in the last 100 years, 80 years.
It runs deeper than oil, though.
Yeah, it's
It
made, but a
is.
lot of it with the banks and the government and the
Mm-hmm.
oil, it's like they're all tied together, right? Like at this point, it's like it's the integration, the globalization that is done by these elite groups. Is that right?
Yeah. That's like
Yeah, that's a
the
yes.
so-called 1%, I feel like. But I believe that it runs deeper than just the oil, to be honest. Sorry
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
trample on
yeah.
your train of thought.
You're right.
Because I was also just checking, I had this thought psychic impression and I just followed it. And it seems like a lot of it, like the idea of this like secret society or whatever is behind these mass leaders and whatnot. I feel like at the moment we are, well, it will sound like very like Nostradamus wise, but it feels like globally we have gone through like this huge awakening and people are opening up and like you see a lot of people getting tarot cards and talking about spirituality and crystals and just stuff like that, and but then also like looking
Mhm.
through like the falseness of governments and just this huge idea that the system is fucked and something needs to give and something needs to shift. So I feel like as a result of that, the kind of the counter strike from these elites to keep themselves in power, to keep the machine running, is to try and assert power. And I asked whether or not the policy of the US at the moment with these strikes was to try and assert dominance, to try and assert that they are still capable, even though like people from within the states are like publicly posting for the whole world to see that everything's fucked, that everything's going to hell, that people are literally leaving states because they can no
Mm,
longer sustain themselves and it's no longer a viable option to remain there. And that, everything from like just basic food is like over processed and it's just unhealthy and it's not even like a real product, but like something that's completely made up in a laboratory,
mm,
to like the prices of everything just being absolutely ridiculous. I feel like this is the ploy to try and show that they are still in power, that regardless of what is being spread, nationwide as far as information from the actual population, from like people living there, that they can still destroy everybody if they wanted to, I guess. And this is sort of like that assertion of dominance. I guess I feel like it makes sense that they're not going against like most of Europe because they are allies, particularly when it comes to Russia, like against Russia, I guess, in many ways. So they
Mhm.
can't do anything openly, but I feel like everybody's very aware that if they wanted to, they could very well do this to any other country in the world, even, like Europe or Asia or anything else. I don't know.
Yeah, there's like I was just asking about the sanctions, like that is kind of backfiring. This is another thing about this because they're not just like Israel's also bombing in Lebanon, and I think they're trying to get land there. They say they're fighting terror, of course. So there's other like things happening while this is happening. But what the main thing too is like it's about the economy because China is so big and Russia has so much oil and resources. Iran also, so Russia and Iran and China have been like basically like creating their own economy because the rest of the world has cut them off with all the sanctions.
Hmm.
And if you think of how much money China has, like it's a lot of money. So like basically, it has to do with like keeping the US dollar tied to the barrel of oil as well.
Hmm.
And I'm getting a yes for that.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a lot of economics, but like the economics are tied in with like yeah, serving like a lot of other things in the chaos is how it feels.
It almost like
Like
is the tip of the iceberg. And
hmm
in a way, it's like it's so obvious that it almost feels like it's a cover up. Like the economics is
Yeah,
it is
it's such a
it, but is
manipulation.
it's like also like there is so much shit underneath it.
Yeah. So what does that mean for little, everyday people? Like that's the thing.
I will be
I
honest, the
yeah,
impression that I got is like it's about subjugation. We have gotten too free, and now it's about subjugating everyone back to
like
obedience.
local, like being local and
Like on just a everyday person. Like
mhm.
it's almost like we have gotten too free. We have gotten to a point where so many people are independent from the state, like they don't depend on the state or like depend on an employer or stuff like that, which feeds like the bigger beast, like that
Yeah,
system. And people are stepping outside of it. People are going off grid and creating communities. I've heard of communities
it
like
was
in
the
the
best way.
US and Canada, even here in Europe, there's like communities just going completely off grid. No electricity, no nothing, just, starting to live life
Yeah.
off of nature, um, you know, growing vegetables and all of that stuff, growing their food, hunting, and just surviving that way, like completely like
Mhm,
no taxes, no nothing, no shit. Like we have a well for water.
mhm.
So I feel like it's trying to
I feel that.
knock that shit down so that the larger beast can stay in power.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you got to think about that. Like every time you go into your job and you pay income tax, it goes to this government that you have no control over. Like, they're buying bombs to send here. They're sending troops to go to that. Like, I don't want to have any part of it. Like, I just need to, yeah, live on my land and like I need you guys to like pick up my garbage and deal with the dump. Like, that's a great community service.
True.
And healthcare, like I think is a great community service. Like, what else do I need you for? Like, please go away. Please go away.
Very true. Very true.
So I feel like in the future, like I'm here holding my little baby, like, are we going to go more like localized governments and less globalization? Is that what like community needs? Is that where we're going? Yeah, I'm like getting a yes on that.
Same here. Yeah.
Because people always say, yeah, globalization, there are good things about it, but it's massive. It's like capitalism on steroids. Like the
Hmm.
earth can't sustain it, right? Like it's just not sustainable.
No.
Humanity is suffering. Like we're dropping bombs on children. Like this is not, we're not winning at life in this
Hmm.
scenario, right? Like we're just here to let things unfold. And it's like people are being forced to be involved with these things. And people have to really take their power back and their money back, right? Like just think of like retirement funds and hedge funds. Like it gets so convoluted, right? Like in all
Yeah.
this Wall Street stuff, everything is so manipulated and manipulative at that level. And like everybody just like, oh, that's what we do. Let's keep doing it. And it's just they just count on that, right? So the systems have to be disrupted. So there's a lot being shown to us right now. It's a lot.
Local centralization in that sense, like deglobalization and centralization around smaller communities and what can be built within smaller communities, I think is the way to go. It feels like the best way, as you said, and it feels like
Mhm.
it's gonna have like the most positive effects because I think it's gonna bring like humanity back to the human race, bring us closer together, and just allow us to feel more interconnected. And ultimately, when it comes to like a government and stuff like that, there's going to be more of a consensus on what's right and what's wrong, and ultimately picking somebody in power that's actually going to be of service to the community rather than fulfilling their own self-interest.
Yeah. But we have to also dig deeper than just getting the right people because they're still working within a system that
Yeah.
is, fixed by that elite group.
In essence, like the
I see
wheel
this a
needs to
lot
break.
because yeah, like I'm involved with the Green Party, which is like it is a worldwide party, so people should look into it because it's like basically not attached to other parties. People think it's more liberal, but it gets painted with certain brushes. But if you actually go to these meetings and things, like they're doing like very democratic ways of like coming up with their legislation and what they would change and this and that. And always the earth is, we need to put that in the equation. Like it's not all about money and economy, right? Like we have to think of earth and people, like it's people and earth that is missing from the capitalism, right? Like we're not
Yeah.
included in that equation. So anyway, this what I was trying to get at is like I have seen them like even yesterday they brought a bill forward which takes a lot of effort in our system. As the third party, you don't get much time to talk, and they have this bill, and it was about the right to a clean and healthy environment, right? Like that sounds lovely. Everybody can agree to that, right? You have the right, like as a taxpayer, as a citizen, as a human being on this land, that if something is, if I don't know, if there's bad air or pollution or something, like you have a right to tackle that. Like it's a basic thing. Like you have the right to drink water. Okay. You have the right to be in a healthy environment. And all of the people in my government said no to that bill. Okay. This is like a type of thing that has been coming up like in communities and at the municipal level, and things like that, like as a progressive thing, because it's a starting block as to tweak other things and make it better. And again, bring people and the earth into the equation. Like it's just common sense because we're smarter and we know better and we have to do better. But all of those people on the other blue and red, they all said no. Because why? Because it impacts industry in some way. So they are there to represent the industry, which is logging and oil and gas.
Well, ultimately, I feel like it would be a starting point for like a cascade of changes and shifts and adaptations and like taking things out that benefit them, that create profit for them, what you just mentioned. So I feel like
Yeah,
it
it's
would
just
just start off this like entire thing where it would not benefit them or their economics. Jesus
right.
Christ. But it
So
sounds like the
anyway, it's just weird.
most
It's
logically, it's
so
like the
it's
most
very
reasonable
hard,
thing.
right? Like to have the people in there, and then you're working against this system, and it's the one
Mm.
party majority anyway. So the government. I think has to crumble. I love seeing revolution all over the world and people like calling them out and yeah, people stepping down, people getting changed. Hopefully laws are getting changed. Just people just have to keep fighting.
True.
I pulled a card and I think it's just adorable from this deck that you gifted me, the illustrated bestiary oracle cards. And this is called Work Together. And it's this house mouse, and it's these cute little mice climbing into a jar full of seeds. There's like all of this kind of like prep around them, like they're in like a cupboard, right, with food and stuff. So it's kind of what we were touching on. Like it captures that energy of, yeah, working together, like as smaller communities to stand up for things that don't make sense, that we're not going to continue on doing, like from here on forward. Also, that storage thing, like, I have these things, let's trade with you, like bringing barter back in, bringing like going off the grid, those the things that you were touching on, like bringing cash back, like this card feels very like tangible things. Like these are not like ideas and stuff. It's like working with what you have. Like we have to also be, prepared for like system outages. Like the internet goes down for a month. Like, can you handle that? Like all of these things, right? You have to be smart about like what they control that is out of our control and like not try to like stress about those things. And it's more about, yeah, what's in my control, what's in front of me. And that I think is like really good advice.
Hmm.
um, because that's really all you can do. And maybe some of these mice are like special and they get to crawl off into another government building and influence other people
True. Yeah.
in that system. Like maybe there is some mice that are able to like integrate in, for us and represent us properly. But I feel like Canada, like the government is like very much in denial. I find our media is very controlled. Like they mute a lot of things that's happening in the world. Like I don't know if you know, but the US is literally like blocking Cuba right now from like getting supplies and food and healthcare supplies, medicine. And in Canada, like all people you like vacation there all the time. Like we go, they do like the all-inclusive week, 2 weeks all the time. And all they said, like everybody's stuff got canceled this year, and all they said is, oh, there's a fuel shortage in Cuba. End. Period. There's nothing about the US like literally holding this whole island hostage. Nobody's saying a word because why? We're over here bombing and distraction, distraction.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I don't know what they're trying to do. If they're trying to like literally like take it over, I'm not sure, but that remains to be seen.
I have
But
personally
there's
not
like,
heard about this, but
yeah. Anyway, again, I'm so tangenty today. This is like funny.
no, it's okay. I pulled the card as well. I feel like it's something that we when we started this, we talked about we will never get like political, and I think we've done a good job so far. And I
Mm,
think we're even now, it's like we're not really politically like discussing, we're just discussing the state of things at the moment, like the
right.
realistic assessment of what we are experiencing as like everyday humans, with the touch
Hmm.
of the more mystical and psychic, as people that get impressions. And I believe that both you and I talk to people on a pretty much consistent basis, and oftentimes people from around the world. So you end up hearing a lot of different experiences like
Hmm.
firsthand from from myself. It's literally from across the world, people are telling me what they're experiencing. It just feels like a something that needs to happen. So like getting tangity, as you said, on that is absolutely okay, because I feel like I'm the same way about this, because it's just the experience of the everyday person, and we're just talking about like how it feels. And I feel like it's also very relatable in that sense, because like everybody's pretty much fucked unless you have like a million in your account and you have to worry about nothing. as far as like, going into work and, buying groceries and you're covered or something like that. I think the experience is very similar. Like we're all struggling, we're all trying to make ends meet for the most part, and just
Hmm.
not go underwater at some point. It's interesting that you got mice because I got Sekhmet from Goddesses and Titans, and I don't know if you will be able to see this card. I will take a picture for everybody to see. Her message is reduction. She is an Egyptian goddess and she's very fierce. She's very much protection. She's very much battle. She's very much like fuck you type message. And I feel like with reduction is like, where can we pull back from reinvesting our money back into the government? What you said, like, where can we go for bargaining? Where can we go for goods changing hands instead of goods changing for money? How can we bring that system back? One of the things that I saw in the past, like online, was like people putting up like stalls and you would be able to just throw money into like a pot and take like 10 eggs or like
Hmm.
homegrown vegetables or fruits, which was like in the US and people like setting those up. And I'm like, that could never work over here. And like literally 2 months ago, I saw first of those stands over here in Croatia, and somebody set it up and they were selling like homegrown vegetables, I think it was.
Hmm.
Mind you, this is like January, February, and eggs as well.
Wow.
So eggs is like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, but like vegetables, probably some they were grown somewhere inside. But you can see like they're homegrown, like because they're not like these perfect things that you get in the store. Like they have like
Hmm.
small distortions, but it's also like it's very cute. And it talks about like that sense of trust that's being built back into the community. Like there is no camera, there is no anything. So literally anybody can just walk up and take that without leaving the money. But the principle behind it is like, I trust you enough to put all of these goods out there that you will leave something as a return and take something of value for yourself, like these actual goods that you can use that's, homegrown and GMO free and free of all this other chemical bullshit. I think that's kind of the message of Sekhmet as well here. Like, how can we reduce the power that's being given back into these larger corporations, into these, chains of stores and government in the end? Because that's how we break the wheel. It starts small, but every wheel breaks as a with small cracks, and those cracks grow and
Yeah.
grow and grow until it falls apart.
Hopefully it falls apart. Bring it down. I'm in that mode. I'm like a millennial. Am I considered a millennial?
I think
I don't
so.
even
Yeah.
know. Gen X. I don't know.
Well,
Yes, I just feel like whatever I am, our generation, we're just fed up. We're done. We're done with it. We're
yeah,
just next, please. Okay. Like, yeah,
I agree.
we're too smart for this. We're too smart for it. That's the thing. We're too smart to act like we're, a 90-year-old with dementia. Like we're just trying, putting things on repeat because, trying to make it fit. It's like we can't do that anymore.
True, true. It's like it's
Common sense has to prevail.
yeah, it's a lot. It's too much in so many different ways, and yeah, I think things need to shift, and something needs to give because this is not gonna this is not gonna work indefinitely, and it's just gonna yeah, it's gonna go worse if we don't change something. And it
Exactly.
and it's also very easy to just say like, oh, if something's gonna, eventually happen, I don't need to do anything. It is about each and every one of us. If each and every one of us does implement like one small change on our day to day, where, it can be the smallest thing, but that bit by bit, like every droplet creates a bigger tidal wave that will ripple through the existing system sooner or later. But it's not about waiting for the next person to do it. It's about us starting to do it on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. You got very
Yes, I like
philosophical
that.
by the end now.
Yes,
But I
that's
think
okay. That happened.
yeah, but it's needed, I believe. It's needed.
All right. Do
Yeah.
we want to call that a wrap?
I think so. I think we covered it. It's a bit of a different episode. Let us know how you like this one. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you're experiencing as well. I think that would be very interesting to hear.
Hmm.
If you're comfortable sharing where at in the world you are and what your experience is with the government or just the prices, with the politics, with whatever is going up, with like surges of things just going freaking up everywhere. Is like, is there something weird that you wouldn't expect to just like skyrocket in price? And your sort of idea on it. So yeah, find us
Yeah.
online.
I said we would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would definitely. You can let us know down in the comments if you're listening this to this episode on Spotify or on YouTube. We would invite you to check out our Instagram, Divination Detectives, and you can individually find Alex under Guiding Tarot and myself under Tarot_Shuffle. And yeah, we would love to hear from you. Hope everybody's having a great week, regardless of the current situation. Stay strong, stay rebellious.
Bye for now.
Bye.